Hey everybody, just a quick video here to show you how to get Simon Genier's CyberNewsMCP server up and running with a local LLM. I think in his LinkedIn post he talked about using Claude Desktop, and I wanted to see if I could get it working locally, and the great news is I was able to do that. So if you want to check out the actual project, you can just go out to this URL, which I'll put in the comments, and you can read up, and he'll talk you through the project and give you some example configuration and how to use it. So once you clone that repo, you're going to get these files except the node underscore modules. And so as long as you have node installed, you go ahead and do an npm I, and this is going to install all the dependencies. And then because this is written in TypeScript, you're going to have to do npm run build. So that will convert the TypeScript code into JavaScript. And then you can make sure that this is actually working by just running the dist index.js. Now, originally I was confused and thought that I had to run this as a server, kind of as a daemon, and then different tools would connect in and talk to it over standard I/O, and that is wrong. You actually are going to configure your different MCP clients on how to run this and multiple MCP servers. So you can go ahead and just cancel out of this. Okay, so I'm going to come back here and show you what I did with Klein. So I tried a couple of different ones. Klein worked out the best for me. You can just do extensions and search for Klein. You'll get this little icon down here. And there's some basic config I'll run you through. So first of all, I did an LM Studio configuration. And you can see if you were watching, this just actually had a query run by. Because this came out and queried the server to look for the different models. You can actually change the URL, which I have running on the standard port here, but so we don't need to do that. And I'm going to choose Qwen 2.5. It has a template where you combine both the system and the user prompt, and so that's what we need for this to work. If you pop into general, I would disable allow error and usage reporting just from a privacy standpoint. Under features, I got rid of enable checkpoints because it was causing error messages, debug messages about not being able to check into Git. I'm going to keep the MCP marketplace enabled just so you can see what that looks like. And then, yeah, the rest of these I didn't change. So technically, you could go fire off a request right now, and that would send it over here to LM Studio, and we would be talking to this particular model. But the last thing I want to do is configure an MCP server. So here's a bunch of them in the marketplace. You've got remote servers, and then you actually have installed servers. So I've already installed CyberNewsMCP. But if you click configure MCP servers, it's actually going to pull up a config file for you that's going to be stored on your computer. And this is a simple JSON. You can define multiple MCP servers, but this one, you can see I gave it this name. I told it to run my standard environment and then go ahead and run node. That way, I'm using NVM to run node. That way, it's going to pull whatever version I have configured in NVM. And then you'll see this command here where we're running the dist index.js. So that is actually it for the MCP server. So we've got that up and running. I'm going to go ahead and clear my logs here for a second. And now we can come out here and I'll just repeat the query that I did earlier today. So find articles about recent data breaches with links to the sources. So when I hit enter here, it's going to go out and talk to the local LLM instead of talking to Claude or something else. You can get some information here about the task and what's being sent. The LLM is going to process this and then try to decide what to do. What it's going to do is then say, hey, I actually need to go talk to the MCP server to go figure out how to do this. I've had this take anywhere from a couple of seconds to a couple of minutes, so it's not necessarily the fastest, but it is interesting just to be running it locally on your machine. So while that is running, I will go ahead and just briefly show you LM Studio. So you can download LM Studio. It's really nice. It's got a chat interface. You can enable a developer mode, so you can get the API server. You can get a list of all your different models where you can change things like the prompt templates as well, things of that sort, lots of different things. And then, if you're up and you don't have anything configured, you just kind of come up here and you select your model, you can search, and then it'll go download it. And you can change different settings like your context length. So you can see here, Klein figured out that it needs to talk to one of the tools that we have installed, which is called CyberNewsMCP. It was auto-approved because I approved it earlier, and you can see another query came out over here. It ran the MCP server, and then here's the search results that came back. So it got 7 different results, and now it's going to actually go back to the LLM server and format this based on the way that we said. So, this is super helpful. It's a great way to go get the latest information. I'm having a thunderstorm if you couldn't hear that in the background. But you can go out there and there's a bunch of different capabilities that Simon has built into this MCP server. So looking at threat intel feeds, data feeds, CVEs, and you can go out there and have it automatically summarize this and send it to you once a day or whatever works. So I'm going to go ahead and let this finish summarizing off screen, but hopefully you found this helpful, and I'll link to the blog as well so you can see the full write-up of how to do this.